was one.
And the boots and woolly hat. Hi, James.
Oh,
James. Okay.
James.
Oh, Valerie and Barry, you're flickering, aren't you? Yeah. Okay, Yannick, I'm ready to do the welcome. Hi, James.
Hi, for some reason my camera won't. It keeps blinking.
The camera's not coming on. Let me see if we can help you this side. Not sure if we can. Well, it says on here, from what I can see, both your mic and camera on. Oh, you might be able to come on now, James. No?
No, it's just the light is flashing, but that's never happened. Yeah.
Oh, James, and we have to see your gorgeous face. You haven't got
I'll log out. I'll log out and try and log back in.
For radio, so come on. All right. Okay. All right. We're now going to stream. I think we're going to start streaming also on Facebook, so it will be live streamed. So all of our followers on there also will be able to join in the celebration. Not every author is on at this time. Some people are dipping in and dipping out. But this is our celebration of the class of 2022 and all of the books that we published throughout 2022. And we want to celebrate you as our authors and also thank you so much for staying the course with us throughout the year and from years before. Some of you are returning, but you've come back again to do other books, and we hope that those of you who've worked with us this in 2022 will continue with us in the years ahead. Right, as you know, my name is Marcia Spence and I'm the director of Marcia M Publishing House. I'm your host for this evening, and also we have Yannick. Come on, Yannick, let's get you on camera. Yannick is here also. She's the production team because, as many of you know, the team has significantly reduced recently. Hi, Yan. How you doing?
Hi.
Okay.
I'm trying to organize too, yeah.
But I have to say, we have come through the last quarter. The Marcia Publishing House was extremely difficult. Also, at the beginning of the year, we were just finished lockdown, and it was about, businesses trying to get themselves established again, adjusting to everything starting to open up, and lots of changes to the economy. We had how many changes of Prime Minister in the year? The Queen had a jubilee, and then also the Queen passed away. Then we had the King, and we're yet to enjoy the coronation. We ourselves also lost a Queen, part of our team, one of our authors, who we will pay tribute to later on in the evening. But thank you all for coming. So I'm just going to give you an overview of what to expect this evening. So I'm sure Jan has prepared you, especially I'm looking at one particular gentleman, Barry, because he's so shy. Okay, we've been live streamed now.
It's live stream.
So this is the class of 2022 celebration for those of you who are watching on the live stream for Marcia M Publishing House. And so I'd like to, I'm just looking to see, so I have a running order, but if they're not on, I'm just going to go with who is actually here on the call right now. And I'll just go to the next available people. And the first author so we're going to do, each author is going to have a few minutes to talk about themselves, their book, and how the journey's been so far, and maybe your plans ahead. You've got just under 5 minutes each person to speak. And then once we've done all of the books and the authors, then if there's two of you, then you have 2.5 minutes each. And then we're going to go on to the actual recognition awards, where we are recognizing all of our authors for specific things that throughout the journey, or their books for specific things that we've taken time, along with consulting the editors and so on, about, you know, where we should place. Oh, the power's just gone off for Opal. So yeah, let's go. So the first author is Mr. Stanton Holder. Where are you, Stanton? There you are. You're the first author, Stanton, that we're going to invite to speak. The stage is yours. I know you're a wonderful speaker, Stanton, and we've had such a great time working with you. So over to Stanton, whose book is Life, Wonderful Life. Stanton, if you'd like to unmute, and the stage is yours.
Yes, good evening, Marcia, and all the other authors are here. It's good to
Good
be here with
evening.
you all. My first time, you know, in such a meeting like this here, seeing so many authors, young and old, great and small. Thank God for you all. I am a Christian, and, you know, I give my life to the Lord Jesus Christ in my 20s. I am in my mid-80s now.
Wow.
You know,
Great.
the thought came into my heart, you know, what prompted me to write, you know, my autobiography. The thought came to me when I look around and see a lot of youngsters, you know, making fool of themselves. You know, I grew up in a different environment in Barbados, beautiful island. I left there, coming here to this country, and I'm here now 60 odd years. I was married, my wife is deceased. You know, this is 28 years now this year, and I have 6 sons here, you know, from the marriage, and I enjoyed my time in the Lord Jesus Christ. You know, I thank God for what he's done for me over the years. And I wrote this autobiography, you know, with the aim at, it's the cross-section from youth right away through to the aged, especially those in marriages, you know, something about my marriage, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed 30 odd years of marriage, beautiful, and I have no regrets about my marriage, you know, and that's the way I believe marriage should end. But it was what prompted me to see how young people are making a fool of themselves. And also many marriages as well. And I would like, you know, for people to buy this book and read it, and what I believe God has done for me and done for my life, he turned it around. I believe he can do it for anybody. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And as you've got a couple of minutes left, Stanton, I have to, you know, I remember your launch, I have to just say, give us a little example of where you came from in terms of God turning it around.
I came from a background where I had to put up with a lot of things. I had no option until I came here in my early 20s, you know, straight to a job in London Transport, as it were. And after losing my job in London, I came to Manchester. And where things turned for me was when I met my wife, you know, and she was a Christian, and you know, I'm not ashamed to say, I believe she led me to the Lord Jesus Christ, and my life turned from then. I didn't look back, and God helped me over those years. I believe he
Amen.
could for any young man or young woman. Thank God.
That's wonderful. And how's your author journey been, Stanton?
It's been great. Marcia, people are still asking for the books. All the books that I ordered from you, you see that I put in another order again, and people are asking for them. You know, they're reading them. I just came from visiting, you know, one of my friends, as it were, and he said it is really lovely, and people are recommending it. You know, something there for everybody, from youth to old age.
Wonderful. Well done, Stanton. Let's give a round of applause or a wave for Stanton, well done. Stanton he's 86 years of age. Wonderful. I didn't even know his age until we met in Manchester, and I was astounded. Okay, we're now going to our next author, Sharon. Get ready. Okay, you were going to be a bit later, but the people that were before are not here. So if you've got it on another device, if you can mute one of your devices, can't hear echo, or somebody has it on another device. Okay, if you've got it on if you might have the live stream on or something. So Sharon, unmute. And this is Sharon Jackson Willis, and she's one of our latest published authors, and her book is called Battling with Giants. Over to you, Sharon.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I am Sharon Jackson Willis, the author of Battling with Giants. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to just read the back of my book so you get like a little understanding of a slight understanding of what the book is about, and then I'll just continue.
Okay.
So Sharon, me, I'm 52. Is a 52-year-old wife and mother who's passionate about her children. In this book, she gives a candid insight into teen motherhood, baby loss, addiction, mental illness, dispelling the stigma of mental health of a child growing into an adult. Sharing her understanding of why people diagnosed with mental health do the things they do. Many mothers will relate to Sharon's fight for survival, battling with giants and quietly questioning her life whilst delving into the seat of the soul. Sharon's memoir reminds us, using her motto for life, "You are not alone and you must never give up." So basically, throughout my journey, I've overcome a lot of obstacles, starting from teen motherhood, which I had a child at the age of 16 and 3/4. I always say the 3/4 part because I was nearly 17, so it doesn't look so bad then. Anyway, and then I cover mental health with my son, who was diagnosed with schizophrenia at the age of 16, and he's now 36, and he's still battling with that giant.
Wow.
I speak in the book about death, with many of my family's deaths that's affected me, and also my best friend who was murdered. And I cover also dementia of my mother, being a carer for my mother, going through her latter years with dementia. I've been through all walks of things in my life, and it's just my way of sort of like healing. So throughout this journey of writing this book, I've kind of come to understanding more of myself and sharing, because I think like a lot of people, especially like Christians, when they're going through stuff like this, they feel ashamed and they want to, hide and say, well, I'm a Christian, I shouldn't be, I should be strong, I shouldn't be able to, show, people think that if you're a Christian, you shouldn't show weakness. But I don't think it's about weakness. It's about, I think that this has strengthened me in sharing. And I would just like to encourage other mothers and other people to share. There's nothing to be ashamed about, you know, and there's nothing to be embarrassed about. So I'm just here to encourage someone today, you know, if you're a guest, to write your book, write your journey, you know, share. It's been a difficult, like, oh gosh, years for me. It's been difficult, but I'm happy and I'm glad that I was able to share my journey.
Oh, that's wonderful, Sharon. Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, it's been a difficult life. You've battled. Would you say you've won?
I would say I've won in the fact that the enemy would want me to stay back, you know, quivering, trembling. I'm scared. I can't continue with life. And there was one stage I did feel like that. And then, you know, as time went on, I got to understand that God is on my side. As the word says, He will never leave us. He will never forsake us. You know, sometimes when you're going through your struggles, you think that, where is God? What's He doing? And but to where I am now, He's been here all the time. And I've got that reassurance, you know, so, and I've come to, well, not come to, I just understand that the battle isn't ours, it's the Lord's.
Amen.
So.
Amen. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sharon. Thank you. And we'll go on to speak to you later also.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Give
Okay.
Sharon a wave or round of applause. Well done, Sharon. Well done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And as you know, all of our books are available on Amazon, or if you know the author directly, you can get in touch with the author and get signed copies. I'm sure Sharon will be involved in some book signings along the way. She will be at Wolverhampton. Sharon is from Wolverhampton. She will be at the Wolverhampton Literature Festival next Friday with some books available. So if you're in and around Wolverhampton on Friday, you'll be able to meet Sharon there. So Sharon, we're looking forward to that. Okay, thank you. Right, we'll now go on to, they've just rejoined us. So
yes, we had a power cut.
Oh, you've had a power cut.
So sorry about that.
Let's grab you right now then. So we're going to go on to Ambi and Pauline Myers, who have published 2 books through us, and they're in Jamaica. Wonderful. Mandeville, isn't it? Yes. So over to you guys to just tell us about your books and anything else, and about yourselves.
Well, the last book that we published there has been resounding success.
Wow.
And we have sold all the copies and we had to reorder. So now we just have another set because some persons did not get.
Okay. Can you give us the titles? Can you give us the titles of both books, please?
Dawn of a Golden Day and The Reformation in Fives.
Wonderful. Move them over a bit, Pauline. Yeah.
Are you seeing
Thank
them
you
better?
so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
Right.
The sales have been good amongst those Jamaicans overseas in particular. Because there are sentiments attached, you know. When you see a book written by somebody from your own background,
yes, the
you know, it makes quite a difference. Now, people always complain that whatever they buy overseas, very often are written by overseas writers who might be more Caucasian, and we are colored people. So sometimes it doesn't synchronize very well. They love to see things and hear things from your own. And we have pictures and all the commentaries about the happenings in Jamaica, and people love it. People like that. And in addition to that, to be honest with you, your presentation the other day,
your launch
was super. Your launch, boy, yes, you become a star, you know, girl. They did
a very good job, Marcia.
The people like you, man. TV. Yes, of course. They thought it was well done, and boy, it was impressive, and you have favorable comments.
Lovely. That's wonderful feedback. Wonderful feedback. So any of you who want an online launch, that's a great recommendation. I know Donald has his online launch coming up at the end of February. Okay, so Pauline?
Yes, this Reformation in 5 was done just at the time of COVID, so we had time to do that. And it was actually a celebration of our 45th anniversary, and we started writing in 2020. And then the dawn of a golden day, which, you know, was done for 2022, was Ambi's 70th birthday celebration.
Oh, wow.
And also the celebration of Jamaica's 60th anniversary of independence. So I think the timing is good.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, you're looking very happy both.
Yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. And
happy.
we're writing another one.
Yes.
We're halfway through, and we're coming
Okay.
back to you.
Okay, that's lovely.
And although history is very important, we're shifting a little bit and writing about our travels this time.
This time is to inspire travelers.
Yes.
And people are interested and they're already going to save up their money. So I think we'll have another successful book.
Brilliant. That's good. That's very, very good news. So, you know, if you have family abroad who want to publish, we actually do work with authors who are in the Caribbean, any part of the world. We can get your books online, you know, and get you and do the promotions with you. Okay. Anything else?
Right now, our friend, Dr. Earl Hendricks,
Yes.
is on, and he wants to link up with you. So he'll make the contact with you.
Oh, that's fabulous.
Yes.
And there's a second person also writing something, and they asked us just this week about you.
Yes.
So we're
that's
going to be recommending.
Oh, that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful news. Wonderful news. And thanks to Kerry. Kerry's one of our team, one of our authors who recommended you as you're her aunt and uncle. So yeah, that's great. Okay. Word of mouth is what's been over the years. It has been word of mouth that has actually brought people to us more than anything else. Yes. Thank you so much for that endorsement, and we love working with you guys. It's great, and distance hasn't made a difference.
No.
The only thing is, we need to get out to Jamaica and meet in person, which we will do. Which we will do. Yes. That is definitely happening. Yes. Okay. So I don't know when yet, but it's happening. God willing.
I'll see you soon.
Yes. All right, Kerry.
All right. Good. Okay. That's great, Kerry. Okay, and now I'd like to go on to thank you so much, Pauline and Ambi. Thank you. Can we give them a wave and a round of applause, please? Authors, be ready because you don't have a running order. But Ambi and Pauline, stay on because we're doing the recognitions later on. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Even if you drop off and come back, you know, we'll do it. Yeah, Earl was on also, but I think he's had a power cut, so he'll probably come back. Yeah. Right, we'll now move on to Mr. Donald Campbell. Over to you, Donald. Donald is the author of My Path of Life.
So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good afternoon, Jamaica, is it?
Yeah.
Yes, so thank you very much for inviting me to this platform. It's absolutely fantastic to link with so many people who have decided to tell their story in one way or another. My Path of Life is what it says, My Path of Life, and got the inspiration to write. I've always liked writing from a very young age, so I decided to write about my life story from age 0, if you like. So my parents left me when I was quite young in Jamaica. My daddy left me when I was 4. My mother left me when I was 7. When I say me, we're 5 children. And we didn't meet up again until I was 13. So I missed out quite a bit on growing up in a family unit. And I gotta tell you, I loved my mother. I really missed my mother. Yeah. So those years were very much broken away from home. And when we met up again, fortunately, we had that bonding. So having come to this country when I was 13 and lived, and, you know, you may see in the background there, military aircraft. I joined the armed forces, spent 36 years in the Royal Air Force, and went around the world. Now, at the end of that, I started to look at my path of life. And basically, once I wrote the book and drafted it, my mother passed away, and I was able to put the draft in my mother's coffin at the time. And because a big part of the book is about her. Once I completed the book, I just took a chapter out of what happened to me. What happened to me as a youngster when I was left in Jamaica. And then I also thought, what happened to my parents when they came to this country? And I put a question mark in between the two. What happened to me? Who I was left with? How did I get on? What happened to my parents? What experience did I come here? And I thought, wow, this has happened to thousands of people. Yeah. So having written the book, I then founded an organization called the Forgotten Generations. And from that, I set up a charity called the Forgotten Generations. And that is doing very well at the moment, because what I do is I find people and I interview them about their life stories. And a lot of people are finding it very therapeutic being asked about what happened to them and their experiences, either when they were left in the Caribbean or Africa or wherever. And I interview elderly people. And one lady said to me, I bawl all the way to England. And when I said why, she said, because I had to leave my children behind. One was 3 and one was 9 months and 12 days. And it tore her apart. When you look at so many other people who have done the same thing, I thought, let's get this message out there that there's a lot of people, there are a lot of people who this has happened to and who talks to them about it. So there are a lot of mental issues going on. And then, of course, you've got youngsters coming from the Caribbean or other to find that they've got brothers and sisters here. And oftentimes it doesn't meld. People don't get on, you know? So having written that, I then thought to myself, what have our people done? And our people have done a lot of good things, but been forgotten about. So the Forgotten Generations that I've founded look at the history of our people and their contributions to Britain. So I then started to go back in history, set up a website called the Forgotten Generations. It's got so much information on there. So I cover military and civilian stories. And I started way back with World War II veterans. And I've captured quite a few stories visibly. So writing is fantastic, but also not everybody writes. So what I do, I capture as many interviews visually as possible so that people can actually talk about their life story. And that's going on very, very well. The oldest person being 105 veteran. I think she's the oldest British World War II veteran alive. And she is Jamaican, living in Barbados.
Wow.
So, you know, quite a few of the veterans that I've interviewed, when I say quite a few, have passed away. Recently, Mr. Albert Jarrett, who carried the baton in the Commonwealth game, he was the second oldest baton bearer, and he died 1 week later. But wow. he was excellent. He met the Prime Minister, Prince William. You know, he championed being a veteran on TV, newspaper, and all over. So his evidence is actually there, because oftentimes we lose people dying with their stories. So what the Forgotten Generation does is capture stories from you, me, everybody. Anybody who wants to talk about their life story, and we'll record it. And the
Great.
whole point of it is the website is an educational tool for anybody that needs it.
Mm-hmm.
And furthermore, it is now pushing the government to make sure that Black history is a part of the national curriculum. So from writing the book and then founding the organization, is the whole point is to educate, educate, educate.
Oh, that's wonderful. Remind everybody of your book title, please, Donald.
My Path of Life, Part 1.
Part 1. Absolutely.
Part two, and I've got quite a way with that, is my life in the Royal Air Force as an aircraft engineer. And that's well underway.
Oh, thank you so much, Donald.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Let's give Donald a wave, round of applause, thumbs up, anything, blow my kiss, anything. All right.
Thank you.
That's fabulous. We're now, thank you so much, Donald. We're now going to go on to a definitely returning author, Adele Palmer. Over to you, Adele. She's there in the space somewhere. Can you see her?
Hi, okay. Hi, good evening, guys.
All right,
Hi.
this is Adele. Now, Adele is the author of Eve, Eat Your Fruit. Last year, she was our Authorpreneur of the Year because she's done so much with her book. I'm going to hand over to you, and I hope you'll be able to pronounce the title of your book in the other language that it's in. Okay, so I'm going to leave it to you to tell everyone about what you're doing and what you've done so far.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. First of all, I'd just like to say I feel really privileged and blessed to be a part of this process. This is my first thing of this sort. So thank you for the recognition and the invite. So I'm the author of Eve, Eat Your Fruit and Eve, Fruita de Fruitau, the Welsh version. I think I pronounced it correctly.
Wonderful.
So Eve, Eat Your Fruit was originally published in 2021 by yourselves, and then the Welsh version was published last year, 2022. I was going to do actually what Sharon did and just read the back of the book so you can get an idea of the children's book. So the blurb basically says, Eve does not like fruit. Dad tells her that she will turn into a baby if she doesn't eat her fruit. What will Dad do when Eve really turns into a baby? So it's just a fun children's book. So the idea for Eve really came about one day when I was in the garden with my nieces and my brother, and we were just playing in the back garden, and I put some fruit out for them to eat. And my brother, who was I think about 12, 13 at the time, didn't want to eat the fruit at all. So my nieces were teasing him, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna be you're a big baby," and it just kind of escalated like that. And then I started to think, oh, maybe we can make a bit of a story about this, because children, their imaginations that just run wild sometimes, and it made me think of, as adults, what we say to our children and actually what they believe. So sometimes we'll say, oh, if you sulk, your face is going to stay like that, and those kind of sayings. So I thought I'd grab a little bit of a play on, if you don't eat your fruit, you'll turn into a baby.
Okay.
So that's kind of the idea where it came from. In terms of the goal really was to kind of promote the lack of Black children in mainstream children's books. There's a massive gap in the market for it, and there's not enough diversity, especially within children's books. And I wanted to go down the line of Black joy and promoting Black joy. So that's really my ethos, because there are a lot of stories about, the Black experience, and, it's all reality and everyone's experiences, but sometimes it can be quite harsh or, very gritty. And sometimes you just need a bit of lightheartedness. So that's what Eve represents, really. So in terms of the Welsh version came about in 2021, where I attended a book exhibition in Birmingham, and I met a Welsh lady, a black lady from called Jessica Dunrod, and she runs a translation company called Lily Translate. So she had explained to me that in Wales, the curriculum for preschoolers, so under 5, all of the children there, with a few exceptions, generally just learn Welsh. Their lessons are in Welsh. So she was explaining that there's a large population within Wales, a black population and a mixed race population of children that are missing out on having access to books with black representations in them that are in Welsh. You know, they're all in English or other languages. So she wanted to pilot a scheme where she would get some funding to promote black authors, children's books, and promote translate them into Welsh. So that's how it came about. And Marcia M and her team helped bring this to life. So that's pretty much how it came about.
Thank you. But then can you also tell, thank you so much, that's awesome just in itself. Could you also just tell the other authors and people who are watching on the stream and guess the other things you've done with your book, because this will inspire others. Because I know that I can buy a jigsaw puzzle, for example, in the theme of Eve, eat your fruits. So do you want to talk a bit about your merchandising and all of the entrepreneurship that you've done around your book?
So what I want really is for Eve to be a brand, really, you know, a children's brand for parents and children and schools and education libraries to buy into. Eve represents a new generation of acceptance, of Black joy, and of just fun and lightheartedness. I've kind of branched out into jigsaw puzzles, as Marcia said, and we've got posters, and we're going to try and do some more things. Want some videos and clothes and bedding and curtains. I want to just literally branch out with everything.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Oh, and also congratulations on the birth of your daughter as well.
Oh, thank you.
2022.
Thank you. Yeah, I created my own mini Eve.
Yeah, so she now has her own mini Eve, which is wonderful.
I do.
Adele, thank you so much.
She's one.
Is she one now? Almost one, isn't she? Or is
3
she
weeks. 3 weeks.
Oh, that's right. So Adele, thank you so much. You're doing so well with your book, and we're looking forward to working this year on another 2 versions, another 2 themes for Eve. So yeah, let's give Adele a big wave and round of applause for everything you've done. Thank you so much, Adele. Stay online, stay logged in. Okay, thank you so much, Adele. We're now going to go to the orator of the day. The couple that I always muddle up, and I call them Valerie and Valerie. So it's Barry and Valerie Moore. Welcome. And their book is called Pray Now, Prayers for Everyone. Welcome, Barry and Valerie Moore. Welcome. Stage is yours.
A very good evening to you, Marcia.
Good evening.
And everyone else on this platform tonight. I want to first give a shout out to, is it Sharon? Sharon Willis?
Sharon, yes.
Yes,
Sharon.
she's talking about her child. And I want to let her know that we'll be praying for her. And
thank you.
We'll be praying for her. And we just want to encourage her to keep on standing. The battle, you know, is the Lord's, and He will work it out.
Amen.
Okay, as for myself, my name's Barry. I spent a number of years growing up in the West Indies, Jamaica in particular, Manchester, Grovetown, for anybody who knows Manchester, Grovetown. That's where I grew up with my grandfather. My mother and my father I was in this country. And my mother, she wanted me to come back, and she sent for me. Eventually, I went into engineering. And from then on, I worked for several different companies in my trade. And I give God thanks for my gift that I have for mechanics, and I can apply it anywhere in terms of our work. Now, in 2020 somewhere, it probably started before then, but I went to the New Testament Church of God in Leeds. I got saved. That's where I got saved. 2000. That's it, 2000. My wife just corrected me. I'd met my wife by then. I followed her into the church. Everybody wants to know. Love led me to go to church, right? And I went to church and I got saved. I had a desire from that time to see God's people prosper. And that was simply it. I wanted to see God's people prosper. And I had a desire for such. I started preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. A number of years after that, I started writing, not knowing that, of course, it was going to lead to Pray It Now Ministries, which the book, which has been published by Marcia and company. And so here we are right now. When I started writing, it started out as emails first. Then we had WhatsApp. Up to now, we have about 300 people. It's grown rather over the years to about 300 people. And you know, I had to work. I was working both ways because I had to work. I had to work also in getting Val to get on board with me. It was tough because at first she didn't want to get on board with the ministry, but eventually we started writing together. And here is where it's at. I'll just hand over to her just now to give her part of the story.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Thank you, Barry.
Be here, and congratulations to everybody. It's so inspiring. I'm so inspired this evening listening to everybody so far, and what you've done is absolutely amazing. Where the book is concerned, Barry and I decided that we would write a book. It's come a long way. It's been a while to get to where we are. But, you know, I just give God thanks that he's sustained us through it all. So while life is happening, we're still writing, we're still praying.
Amen.
And it's a book of prayer. The screen's flashing, so you probably can't see it so well.
We can see it, we can.
Okay. It's a book of prayer, and I know that prayer works. That's my testimony. Prayer works, and we keep praying, and the Lord delivers. But we have to do something, and God has enabled us to produce this book. And the intention is not to have a book out there. It's about the world knowing, and the world knowing that God exists and is real, and the world knowing that when the chips are down, and not just when the chips are down, you can call on the Lord, and he hears and he answers prayers. And we just want this little book to go everywhere it can. So Barry talked about we mail out to every single day. Barry is still writing a prayer and sending it out either by email, text, or WhatsApp. And so the prayers are going around the world, and we want the book to go much further than they have gone already, so that anybody can pick it up at any time. When you can't find the words to pray, you pick up the book and you leaf through and you find something and you talk to God.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
It's wonderful. Wonderful. How has it been since your book release then? Because I know your book came out in December, I think.
December, yeah. You actually sent us a text, Marcia.
Oh yes.
Yeah. It actually made it to number 4 in Amazon's
bestseller
rating.
That's right.
So that was
a bestseller within a few days, I think.
Yes, that was quite exciting. We've learned so much from working with you and your team. As thinking about writing, in the past I've submitted the work to someone who gets on with the rest, and then lots to do. And this has just been so different, having to carry this baby all the way. So yeah, you know, I'd just like to say, Marcia, thank you and your team, because
you're so welcome.
You've incubated us and
we have, and delivered
this
yeah,
and delivered this baby.
Yes, indeed.
To you all, and for your patience and your kindness, because much love, everybody. There's so much love with Yannick and everybody worked with. It's been wonderful. Thank you.
That's lovely. Thank you. And I think Yannick and I'll speak on behalf of Yannick and I. We have a testimony in terms of that book. You know that it's been a very difficult few months for us, and this team had really scaled down anyway, and then obviously Chantel passed away and we were really struggling, and we actually turned to this book, Pray It Now, and we prayed together. We used the prayers as Valerie said. When you haven't got the words, the book helped us. And it's such a useful handbook. It's a nice size, handbag size, maybe back pocket size for you guys, inside jacket pocket size. You know, So I thank you both too on behalf of Yannick and myself, because it has really, really helped us. And I absolutely love the cover. I love the colours. It's the colour at the top, the sea. I mean, even though it's interesting, even though I played a huge part in the cover.
Yes, indeed.
But I think I'm glad you chose. I love it.
Yeah.
I just love the colours. The colour, there's something about it. So yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being here tonight, and stay online. Stay online.
We will.
Okay.
We will.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Right. Who do I have next? Okay, James, are you there? Are you able to come back on camera?
Just give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
I've been trying to join back on camera.
If anyone needs just a little comfort break, I'm just going to get a glass of water, and then James, he's here now. Okay, I'm still going to get a glass of water though. So just have a little. Now, listen, Marcia, black people, I'm saying literally 1 minute, so come back. Don't even log off. I'm going to get a glass of water, or even what you're drinking, Donald. I might even get something like Donald has. Is it water? Okay. All right. Just a second.
Norma, we've still got to do a collaboration.
Yes. Ladies, just remember that you're streaming. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Yes, what I loved before, just picking up on Kerry's statement to Norma. Kerry and Norma, it's so interesting. Kerry, okay, Norma is my mom and Kerry is my friend. We met over the last few years, and Kerry has really been a great background support. She's also one of our authors. She's also been, and we only met about 2 years ago or 3 years ago. It'd probably be 3 years this year. And, but it turned out that all the support for Academy, anything and everything that we had, you guarantee Norma and Kerry are there. If there's nobody else online, Norma and Kerry. If we don't get Norma and Kerry, there is a big problem. And then we discovered something. They're not the same age. Kerry is my age or even a little bit younger. But Norma and Kerry are both born on the 12th of August. So we realized why they were so similar. So, and in everything, they've just connected, collaborated, they met through the Academy, and the relationship has continued, and it's going to continue as we move forward. So we'll come back to you and your collaboration later. James, we're ready for you. I'm going to introduce to you a young man, author, one of our authors that joined us last year, James Thomas, the author of the literary fiction book, My Name. What's your name again? Hold on.
Isn't Joe.
I'm going to introduce you to Joe. You're supposed to say, James?
My name isn't Joe.
Isn't Joe. That's the title of his book. But at his book launch, I kept calling him Joe. And then it would just turn into this thing where everyone said, my name isn't Joe. So over to you, James. Tell us your story. Tell us about your book. Introduce yourselves to your authors and also the other guests who have joined us.
So before I go into my book and even myself, as has been said already, I just want to say a massive thank you to Marcia, Yannick, the whole team. You've helped a dream of mine that I've had for a very long time come to fruition, and that's a big deal. I think back to when I was working on this book, it took me about 10 years to get this book published, all in all, from when I first had the concept and started writing up until it being published. And that's been made possible because of you, Marcia. You know, we met online very randomly on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And yeah, we had that first phone conversation that lasted ages. And from there, you really did help my dream come true. So I just really wanted to thank you for that. It's been an amazing experience. So yeah, I am the author of my novel. I don't know if you can all see this. My name isn't Joe. As was said, it's a literary fiction novel. I was first inspired to write the book based on a quote by Henry David Thoreau, an American philosopher, who said, "The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation." And that really touched me, really stood out to me. And from there, I just started writing and writing. I didn't know I was writing a novel. I just knew I was writing something from my heart. And it turned into this amazing story of kind of male depression, struggle with mental health, loneliness, grief, feeling disconnected. And from there, it kind of moved on and morphed into a bit of a story with humor, with life, and with hope at the end. And that's really what my book's been able to do. And the reception that it's received has been amazing from people. I did not believe that my book would do this well. I thought a few friends would buy it, and only a few of those few friends would actually read it, and maybe one or two of them would actually enjoy it. But on Amazon and Goodreads, it's getting 4 stars, 5 stars from people I've never met before. And that is an amazing feeling. And I think especially after lockdown, the themes of mental health, depression, kind of struggling with disconnect and loneliness, they've really been highlighted. They've always been there, but I think because of lockdown, that really exacerbated the situation and brought to light how many people are really struggling. And yeah, the best feedback I've received is people telling me how the book has helped them directly with their mental health, or they've bought it for a friend or a family member, and how it's been helping them with their mental health. In fact, on, what day is it today? Thursday, I was talking to, no, Friday, just yesterday, I was talking to a work colleague, and at the end of the conversation, she said, "Oh, how's your book going?" I said, "Oh, no, it's going really well." And she said, "I just wanted to let you know, I gave the book to my brother who struggled during lockdown with his mental health. And out of all of the books that I've given him, he said he loved reading your book and it really helped him." And it's feedback like that that touches me massively, because that was the whole purpose of me writing this book, was not to make loads of money and be famous and this, that, and the other, but it was to try and touch people, people that are feeling alone and people who are suffering in silence. And so that's why I put the book together, and it's accomplishing that goal of reaching people. I've had people on social media reach out to me and told me, you know, "I've never told anybody this, but I suffer with depression." Or one lady told me that she self-harms. She's never told anybody. She said, "I've never told anybody this, but I'm telling you because of your book and the subjects that you're writing about. I know you understand, and I know you're not going to judge me." So I'm just so happy that my book's been able to have such a positive impact. Just recently, I met with Mind in Haringey in London, and hopefully going to be doing some work with them. Mind, they're the mental health charity.
Yes.
So hopefully going to be doing some work with them and promoting the book and going in and giving talks about mental health, especially in men, especially in Black men, because it's such a subject that doesn't really get touched on. And I think that's the reason why people are kind of picking up the book and enjoying it, because it's a topic that nobody really speaks about too much.
Absolutely, James, absolutely. You've also submitted a second manuscript to me.
I have indeed.
Which I've been reading, and
what do you think?
I did. I've sent you I've sent you 2 emails actually. Oh, it's just, I've sent you 2 emails. Really deep. It's so deep. It's so. I can't even say it here, but it's called The Other Side of Love. Yeah.
Yeah.
But from what I'm reading, it's poetry, but from what I'm reading, it's about struggling with mental health and struggling with just that whole battle. And lots of, I don't want to say too much, because let's do that when we're promoting the book, because we need to talk about it. But it really resonated with me, and it is so powerful. That's all I'm going to say so far. So thank you, James. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you like fiction, get this book. If you like fiction, if you want to give people fiction, get this book. I think you're the first of our fiction writers to come on. And again, so far we've had non-fiction, apart from Adele's children's book. And just anything else. Anything else that you aspire to, James, with your book?
One thing that I wanted to say was, this following on from Adele, she was talking about, I believe it was Adele that was talking about with her book, painting a picture of kind of the Black experience, but it not being so kind of dark and about negativity. And that's kind of what I wanted to do to an extent with my novel. Was I'm a Black author, but I didn't want to write a story that was about drugs and crime and violence and all the negative stereotypes that people think about when they think of Black people, especially Black men. I wanted to show that there's a whole other side of being Black. And guess what? We're quite normal.
Yeah.
You know, we have normal day-to-day struggles. We struggle with paying the rent, but we also struggle with friendships, with marriages, with relationships, with friends, with people falling out, and all the other day-to-day struggles that everybody else deals with, we deal with too. And sometimes it's nice reading a character who is going through all of these things that doesn't fall into the stereotypes and the tropes of a young Black man. He must be getting out of a gang, or, you know, his parents must be crackheads or in prison, or, you know, somebody trying to, there's some type of knife crime and whatnot. That's not how all of us live. Some of us, you know, we struggle with our mortgages and our day-to-day going to 9 to 5s, and you know, we've got normal problems. And I really wanted to show that the Black experience is bigger than just the stereotypes that are portrayed on TV and movies and whatnot, and that we have other interesting parts of our lives, that you know, negativity isn't everything that surrounds us and defines us.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, James. Give James a round of applause, wave. I can't remember if we gave Valerie and Barry their waves and round of applause, but let's do it now as well. James and Valerie and Barry, thank you so much. I just realised I missed it. I think I was thirsty. Apologies there. Okay, all right. We're now going to go on to, now we have our two. I'm going to invite, I think, we're going to look at the triumph of motherhood. And I'm just going to invite, and it's up to Yannick. There are 4 of us here who are in, well, I'm the lead author in the book called The Triumph of Motherhood. That was the first book that the publishing house released in January 2022. We released it on my first child, my son, who on his 35th birthday. I had my first child at 19, and I knew that I wanted to write a book that celebrated motherhood. Oh, my mom disappears as at the time. It's probably her internet's gone as well. And I wanted to celebrate being motherhood, and in particular, because I was the lead author, it was my concept. I decided that we would release the book on the 25th of January 2022, which was the 35th anniversary of me being a mother. And so that's all I'm going to say. And my chapter celebrates my son. It speaks about my other children. Oh, you have, of course you've got a copy, Kerry, Andy and Pauline. Yeah. So thank you for holding it up, because I haven't got a copy in front of me. Yeah, that's it, Yannick. Well done. I bet Kerry hasn't got a copy. Have you got one?
I do.
No, you do.
It's just out of reach. I can grab it.
So there are 8 of us. There's myself, there's Kerry Badaloo, there's Yannick Taylor, Francis, there's Shelley Allmark, Janetti Barrett, thank you for the picture. There's Tonya Daly Campbell, there's Fiona Spence Reid, and there's also Norma, she's back, Norma Broadstock, who is my mum. So for me, it was also ever so good as well, because I was my mum joined me in the book, and also one of my younger sisters, Fiona, is also in the book. And it was Fiona and Kerry. This was their debut published writing, and so I'm going to go to Kerry first to speak. Just to share a little bit. Now, we've only got like 2 minutes each, so I've had mine. And Kerry, well, we might have a bit more because some of the others are not here. So Kerry, over to you. Tell us about your story, about you, and anything else you want to say.
Thank you so much, Marcia. Good evening, everyone. And I would like to say, firstly, thank you so much to Marcia and her whole team with assisting me with not just this book, but actually aspects of my life. I had never done anything like this before. I had a tumultuous time in my life, and this was something totally different, totally opposite to what I would normally do. Marcia, as she said, we met some time ago and invited me to submit a chapter for the book. And imagine my surprise when she accepted it for publication, because it's something I'd never done before. Now, in my chapter, The Triumph of Motherhood, I actually speak about the influences of the mothers in my life, and I pay tribute to my mother and my grandmothers mostly. I also speak a little bit about my children and also growing up. I grew up in Jamaica. I lived there till I was 16, and as Marcia said, Ambi and Pauline Myers are my relatives, and we had a very close-knit family growing up. Really, Uncle Ambi is related to my mother, and we spent lots and lots of time growing up around them, around the family as a whole. I moved to England after I got married, and I was totally taken out of my protective family group, my protective shell, if you like. I was married for 32 years, which ended recently. So writing about motherhood and writing, the Triumph of Motherhood stories was actually something that was very positive for me. And it was, brought happy memories, and it was something I found uplifting, and I really enjoyed it. And again, thanks to Marcia and all her team for all their sterling help with helping to produce this piece of literature. I am working on some other things, but some of it's actually very painful, and I can't really do a lot of it at the time because of the emotions and memories that come out with it. But I've enjoyed working with Marcia, Yannick, Norma, and all the rest of the ladies. And, honestly, Marcia is so wonderful, not just with, being an author a bit. She's actually so encouraging and helpful, and so is Yannick. I have found them to be valuable friends, and I absolutely cherish the friendship that we have and the connection that we've made. Thank you.
To be honest, I felt emotional right from the beginning, from when Stanton spoke all the way. Sharon, everybody, I want to felt emotional. Kerry, you're getting me closer.
Oh.
To be honest, I'm going to say I'm really joyful about this evening. It's just wonderful to be in the new year, looking back at the year, looking at what we've achieved, looking at what our authors have achieved. It feels so good. Jan, I'm sure you're feeling good too. I'm feeling great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lovely feeling.
I forgot to add that I also helped Marcia with some marketing and some other administrative things. So you might see emails or messages or something from me from time to time, because I actually helped Marcia out with the publishing house.
Yeah. So Kerry's been on a bit of a break and she's back. Kerry had this long hair, now she'll come back with short hair, and I've got short hair too. So it's growing back. Yes, it's growing. Kerry, you haven't told us about your chapter. Just a little bit, the title of your chapter.
The title of my chapter was My Motherhood, and
you did about your grandmother. You did.
Yes, I speak about their influences on me growing up, a little bit with my life growing up with my brothers and with my grandmothers.
Yes, thank you so much.
Their influence on me as a mother, and how they influenced me in how I live and what I do today.
That's lovely. Thank you so much, Kerry. Give Kerry a wave, round of applause. And give another wave and round of applause to Valerie and Barry, because I did miss them. Okay. Right. Now on to Miss Norma. Norma, I've only just left Mum yesterday, and I miss you already, Mummy.
I miss you too. Oh,
she lives in Portugal. She lives in Portugal. So, Mum, you need to stay on camera.
I'm missing about.
Is your? Is it the internet?
Hold on. It's the int. Okay. Start the video.
Okay. Your video was on. Oh dear. All right. Yeah. Over to you, Miss Norma.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Can you hear me? You can hear me. Okay. Right. Well, this is really exciting. I live here in Portugal. The language is a bit difficult for me, so I sort of gravitate towards people who speak English. I live here with my husband, so this is really nice to be able to talk to other people, because otherwise I have to talk to him every day, every waking moment, and there's nobody else. So it was great having you here, Marcia. It was really lovely, the 6 days. It went so quick. Anyway, that's enough of that. I just want to congratulate everyone this evening on being an author, having their books published, or the book or their books, and the ones that are pending. And also to say it's a wonderful thing to be able to put your thoughts on paper and to share your stories, because whatever stories you share can encourage one person, 2 people, you know, a host of people, and they can identify with the things that you write. Because I think as particularly people from the Caribbean, Donna was talking about being left behind and then meeting up with parents many years later. I had a similar experience, and I think a lot of us from the Caribbean have had that experience. And it's lovely to share. And so you know that you're not isolated. And also people who are going through issues of mental health with themselves or with their children, it's good to know that you can share with someone else, that you're not alone and you can get some help. I've loved working in the publishing, helping out in the publishing house. And Marcia asked me about, was it 4 years ago, if I wanted to do a chapter, join their group, collaborate with some other authors and write about confidence. And I thought, confidence? I'm not confident. So then I thought, okay, having moved to Portugal, just sort of packing up, going to a country where you don't speak the language, you don't know anyone, to start a new life. It took some guts and some confidence to do that. So I thought, okay, I'd write about that. But I also wrote about the impact that had on me leaving although they were all adults when I left, because my youngest was 29, they're still my children. They still are now, because I found them every day. So then Marcia came up with the idea of writing a joyful book about the triumph of motherhood, and said, Mom, would you like to write a chapter? And I said, yes. And so I set about doing this without any hesitation. And she said, oh, 3,000 words, Mom. And I thought, well, I'm 75. I have 4 children, 9 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren. I can't do it in 3,000 words, but I will try my best. And I think I ended up with about 4.5 or something like that. And so I wrote about the joy and the sadness, really, and the triumph, because I love my children, all 4 of my children. They're also individual, but yet the same, you know, shared the same experiences. And they're very feisty, my girls, and strong. And I admire that. I'm particularly proud of Marcia for the work she's doing. And I don't really think that Marcia knows what she's worth, because I hear people tell me about the things that she's done for them, how patient she is, how she gets, you know, I remember I met one author and she said, well, I wanted to write my story, but I didn't want to say everything in the book about my life. But Marcia would not let up. Marcia says, you've got to. And she said these were her words, she dragged it out of me. But she did it in such a nice way. So my darling daughter, I'm so proud of you. Really, really proud. And the triumph for me is to see my children succeed. And, you know, they've all been to university. My grandchildren, last year, 4 of my grandchildren graduated. And I just think that's an achievement and that's a triumph. 2 with BSc,